Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. As it's Wednesday, and we've got AEW Dynamite to talk about. And I'll just say it right here. The show felt so random. At least that first hour. Just felt like they were just throwing stuff at the freaking wall. And see what sticks. Like, you know, those freaking pay a 2 quarters, twist the knob and get the sticky hand out of the machine. It was basically just like, here's a bunch of ideas. Where's the sticky hand? Okay, we'll try that. Where's the sticky hand? Okay, we'll try that. Like, this show felt random. Then I'm gonna tell you guys right now off the bat, because I know I'm gonna get the questions. I have no clue what went down with John Moxley and CM Punk. I don't know what that was. I have no clue what the hell that was. Like, huh? It was like, how long was that match? I don't even think I have a time for it, but it was no more than like 6-7 minutes. Punk got basically dominated for 90% of it and then pinned and injured. We'll talk about it when we get to it, but I'm still confused by all of it. I'm still very confused by all of it. I expected we'll get into it. I have a couple theories. Now, I don't know anything. I have some theories that basically what I think it could be. We'll get into all of that. Overall, I thought the show was all right. I didn't think it was a great show because, like I said, it was just a lot of shit thrown at the wall. And so we'll get into all that. But first, I want to say thank you if you are watching live, twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. Also want to say thank you if you're watching or listening later, whether that's youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited or podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Also, I do want to say, if you're watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime, and it's any Amazon Prime account, whether it's yours, your mother's, your father's, your brother's, your sister's, your grandma, your auntie, your uncle, anybody's. You take that Amazon Prime account, take that Twitch account, you link them together, bada bing, bada boom, your Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and they always give you 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But also remember, if you're watching on YouTube, you can help us out over there by hitting the join button and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to podcast episodes, early access to non-news videos, and so much more. Also, remember, you can get all of that more directly support us by heading over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. And give me 1 second. Looks like something may have froze on my end. Nope, never mind. Okay, we're good. Also, remember to head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether that's a new game, whether that's an old game, whether you're claiming one of the free games or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, Fall Guys, or Rumbleverse. Yes, Rumbleverse has Epic Store integration right in the launcher. Like, Fall Guys don't even have that yet, and that is now an Epic property. Rumbleverse is not an Epic property, yet it's got Epic Store integration in the actual game itself. Use code PW Unlimited checkout on all Epic Store and Epic Games purchases, whether that's on the Epic Game Store on your computer or if that's on the Fortnite, the Rocket League, and the Rumbleverse launchers on your PlayStation, your Nintendo Switch, and your whatever Xbox you got. But with that, let's jump into AEW Dynamite. That, well, did something they rarely do. Kicked off with a talking segment. Usually Dynamite kicks off with a match, but tonight they kicked it off with a talking segment. Chris Jericho, Daniel Garcia, and then eventually Danielson, which weird because the graphic also had 2.0 on there. No 2.0 at all. No Matt Menard or Angelo Parker. As far as the show does go, Judas played, Crowd went wild. Jericho out first. After Jericho made his entrance, he invited Garcia to come meet him in the ring. Garcia came down. Music played, but he didn't really play anything up. He just had, some pants on, T-shirt, and was just very I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. Kind of look on his face. He gets in the ring and the crowd's just going, "You're a wrestler. You're a wrestler. You're a wrestler." And Jericho complimented Garcia's performance last week and chalked up their disagreement to his disappointment after losing. All he wants is an apology from Garcia. Garcia ended up getting heated, though. Garcia said that Jericho knew how special it was for him to share the ring with his hero, Bryan Danielson. He hung with Danielson for 30 minutes, and it was the type of match he dreamed about having since he was a kid. And Jericho ruined all of that. Jericho said that deep down, Garcia knows that he's a sports entertainer, and he demanded to hear him say it. Out would then come Bryan Danielson. He said that Garcia showed a lot to him last week. Jericho had enough and demanded Garcia call himself a sports entertainer now. But when Jericho tried to stop Garcia from leaving the ring, Garcia then shoved him down. Garcia left the ring, leaving Danielson and Jericho in the ring together. Danielson made fun of Jericho and said that he didn't like sports entertainers. Jericho fired back by saying that he was the last survivor of Stu Hart's dungeon, and he knows more about wrestling than Danielson ever will. Danielson then insisted that he was the better wrestler today. Even ask Owen Hart. You can ask Stu Hart who the better wrestler is. Jericho then the challenge was made. The American Dragon versus the Lionheart at All Out. Jericho agreed to the match. He told Danielson, "Watch your back." And that was a cue for Jake Hager to jump in and attack Danielson from behind. Good opening segment. Thought it accomplished a couple of things. It still showed that there's dissension between Jericho and Garcia. It set up Jericho versus Danielson for the pay-per-view and Danielson versus Hager for next week. So, set up a number of different things. Next up, we had Jay Lethal versus Dax Hardwood. This match was good. I really enjoyed this match. And the chops that I'm going to say it right now, the chops that these two men were throwing at each other, so loud. It was like I could feel them in my chest. It was just louder than that. Just both of them just firing off. But Dax had the early advantage, and Lethal gained an advantage at one point during a commercial break. We went picture in picture. Also, hold on. So here's an interesting thing. I'm going to pull up this image really fast before we get into this match. This was weird. This was just a little weird. So Hager and Jericho attack Danielson. They then leave the ring. And AEW cuts it to a picture-in-picture replay looking screen, I guess you can call it. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And they just show some guys clearing some stuff from the ring and whatnot. And then they start running down the card, and then they get all confused and they cut it back and they just got the card on the screen. It's like, what? It got a little weird. It got a little weird there for a second. Because they started running down the card, and then they got confused by what the screen looked like. And then it cut back to just single screen. And then it was, because they're like, later on tonight we have Jon Moxley and CM Punk for the World Championship. And then they start talking about another match, and then the graphic again pops up for CM Punk and Moxley. It was just a little bit of a cluster there. Which this whole first hour felt like a cluster throwing shit at the wall. Anyways, back to the match. Lethal, Hardwood. Good match. Not great. So again, Lethal took control during a break. Once back, Dax came back and hit a series of German suplexes. I think he had 3 of them. Lethal then came back with a lethal combination for a 2. He followed this up with a dragon screw through the ropes and a tope suicida. He locked on the figure 4 inside the ring. Dax quickly reached the ropes and countered another figure 4 attempt. Lethal cradled Dax for a near fall, and Dax countered the lethal injection into a slingshot powerbomb for another near fall of his own. Dax then blocked a dragon screw and got Lethal in a pinning predicament for another near fall. He locked on the sharpshooter, but Sanjay Dutt ran out, and Dax let off the hold. Lethal then rolled Dax up for a 2, and Dax came back with a repeated pinning predicament for a 2 of his own. Excuse me. After another cradle, Lethal rolled Dax up, a handful of tights, and actually picked up the victory. Then afterwards, Sanjay grabs the microphone and is like, hey. So you got the trios 6-man tag coming up at the pay-per-view. But we never actually told you who the 3 are on our side. It's Jay with 2 of our old friends, these guys right here, and basically the Titantron video plays for the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. And my first thought was, what? How does this make any sense? Aren't they baby faces in Impact? They're going to join the heels against FTR and Wardlow. Yeah, because this makes total sense. Again, another throw something at the wall because it's cool. Doesn't matter if it makes sense. The fuck? Also, Magma Lord says, I saw on Twitter the Undisputed title match was 3 minutes. Yeah, like I said, I thought it was longer than that. Literally, it starts, and I got it on, and I'm watching it. I turn away. I scoop a thing of freaking mashed potatoes, and all of a sudden I hear freaking wild thing. And I'm like, wait, it's over? Like, Jesus freaking Christ. But anyways, it's Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, and Jay Lethal against FTR and Wardlow. How that makes sense? Just because Lethal and Sanjay are from Impact, or at one point were from Impact. They're all old friends. But it's like, again, I don't watch Impact every week. The last I saw, which was the last actual pay-per-view, Sabin and Shelley were on the babyface side, Team Impact against Honor No More. They're babyfaces. But they're going to join up with the heels and I don't fucking know. I don't know. It makes no freaking sense unless it's all to build up a Ring of Honor tag title match with the Motor City Machine Guns and FTR in the future. That's the only thing I can think this is leading to. Jay's going to get another shot at the TNT title, and the Guns the Machine Guns, will eventually get a shot at the ROH titles. Only thing I can think of to even try to make sense of any of this. So during this first match, early on, Tony Schiavone had stated that a little bit later, I have a major announcement regarding a title here in AEW, and that came up next. We sent it to the back, and it's Tony Schiavone with a very upset and almost crying Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa reveals that she's injured and has to step down as AEW Women's World Champion, yet she's not really. She then reveals that an interim champion will be crowned at the All Out pay-per-view, and she hopes that her friend, her tag team partner, Toni Storm, will win the title. They then cut to commentary where Caliber tells us it's going to be a fatal 4-way match. But then doesn't say who's in the match. Then our next match is Billy Gunn and Colton Gunn. And just randomly during this match, the bottom of the screen, like down here, they throw up a graphic that I missed initially till I had like 4 people send it to me. And then I rewound to the freaking feed and go, oh. They announced the 4 women, but don't even have commentary acknowledge you throw the graphic up at all. And so if you're paying attention to the match and all the bullshit happening in this match, because this was a cluster, you miss it. But it's Toni Storm, Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. And my first thought was, okay, I get why Toni Storm's in this match. I get why Britt Baker's in this match. I get why Jamie Hayter's in this match if we're just going off of the rankings. But why is Shida in this match? They gave no reasoning other than Shida's in the match. Shida's not ranked top 5. You know who is ranked top 5 not in this match? Athena. She'll probably challenge Jade, so whatever. Anna Jay. She's 4th. Where's Thunder Rosa? Not top 5. Or not Thunder Rosa. Hikaru Shida. Shida, not top 5. Also, Thunder Rosa basically told us whoever wins this title is not the real champion. Because she was like, I hope my friend Toni Storm wins the world title. The interim. women's world title. And she made a point to say the interim. And then she goes, I'll be back soon enough, and I'll have an even bigger chip on my shoulder to prove myself when I can get back. But it's just the freaking respect they show to these women in AEW. You've got a big interim world title match with 4 women. You pop the graphic on the screen and commentary doesn't even mention it. Makes no mention. And then you do some stuff later to kind of tell us, but it's like, fuck. Also, I hate the interim thing. I really hate the interim thing. It's stupid. Everyone criticizes the UFC for doing it. And that's where Tony Khan got the idea from, the UFC, having an interim champion. In UFC, they use it so stupidly. I remember last year, Francis Ngannou, they wanted him to defend his title in Houston, Texas, against Derek Lewis. And he goes, can I defend my title the next month? And like, no, we need a title match in Houston. So they just did a random interim title match in Houston with Derek Lewis. And whoever the other guy was, I can't remember who it was, just because they wanted a title match. They basically said Derek Lewis needs to be in a title match in his hometown. So if Francis Ngannou won't defend his title till the next month, we'll just make a fake title, give it to whoever wins this match, which wasn't even Derek Lewis, and then that person will just face whoever wins between Francis Ngannou and whoever down the road. It's like interim title. AEW or UFC has made interim titles for the most part a joke. So when I hear that AEW is doing another interim title, all I think of, it's just a joke belt that means nothing. And then the way Thunder Rosa was like, I hope Toni Storm wins the women's world title, the interim women's world title. Basically, like, I'm still the real champion. And it's weird that Thunder Rosa said, I'm relinquishing. She didn't say the word relinquishing. I'm stepping down as the champion. So if you're stepping down as the champion, that means you're giving up your belt. And so this should not be an interim world title match. She basically should have said, I'm stepping away. I'll still be the champion, the real champion, like CM Punk was. But we need a fake placeholder champion. Because apparently, and I don't want to compare AEW to WWE, but WWE put both their world titles on Roman Reigns. According to, I think it was Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, he had stated that USA is not happy that they don't have a world title on Raw. And he even pitched, can we get an interim championship on Raw? And WWE shot that down saying they don't like the word interim. They don't like interim titles. So it's like, UFC's made the word interim a joke. And then when freaking, I don't want to just keep saying the same things, but remember when Cody Rhodes was the TNT champion and he was supposed to defend the title against Sammy Guevara, Battle of the Belts. He had to miss a week. He missed 1 week. This is kind of like the Derek Lewis, freaking Francis Ngannou thing in the UFC. He's all like, oh, he can't make Battle of the Belts, but he'll be back in like a week or two. So we're going to crown an interim champion and put his brother in there. And then Sammy ended up winning. Then we had 2 champions. We did the ladder match and bada boom. The same thing. We always knew Sammy wasn't the actual champion. Yes, Sammy ended up winning the belts because Cody was leaving. But still, AEW's already told us that the interim belt don't matter. Anyways, short-ass match. Colton Gunn, Billy Gunn. Billy had the crowd in the palm of his hands early on. Crowd was hella for Billy. Colton gained control during a commercial break. Back from the break, Billy fired up with some strikes and some stomps. Austin attacked the Acclaim on the outside. The distraction then was long enough for Billy to get taken down. Colton hit him with a low blow and a Colt 45 to pick up the victory. After the match, Stokely Hathaway was shown looking on. He then entered the ring. He and the Gun Club seemed to be in some sort of an agreement. Stokely also sent out a graphic that it showed Lee Moriarty, Ethan Page, Colton, and Austin Gunn, and then a blank spot, like he's got one more person or group for his little male stable, because he's already got Jade and the Baddies on the woman's side, so now he needs one more guy or team. I don't know, but Billy gets attacked after the match. All of a sudden, just randomly out of nowhere, because again, throwing shit at the wall that makes no sense on this show. Swerve and Our Glory run down. They chase off the Gun Club. They then stare down freaking the Acclaimed, and then in the back later say, hey, we want to give you a title shot. Just randomly, we want to give the Acclaimed a title shot. Like, what the fuck? What? Like, is the Acclaimed even ranked? Let's look this up really fast. Let's go to the AEW Twitter. Go to the AEW Twitter really fast. I got to go. Huh. Interesting. So, the Thunder Rosa thing. Apparently, Wade Keller of PWU Torch a few days ago kind of made reference to he heard something about Thunder Rosa not wanting to do the job at the pay-per-view. So apparently, if what I'm reading here is correct, there was at one point a plan for Toni Storm to win the title from Thunder Rosa and Thunder Rosa not wanting to do the job. So is the injury fake? I'll have to look more into that one. Huh. But as far as the AEW rankings do go, let's see. The rankings for the tag team division. Are the Acclaimed even ranked? Because Bowens just came back from injury. You would think they shouldn't be ranked yet. I mean, they could be. We got the rankings here. They are ranked. They're the third ranked team under FTR, which just throwing FTR in a random 6-man, because you mean the fucking TNT title also not going to be defended. Young Bucks, they're going to be going for the trios titles. So I guess the Acclaimed are the next ones in line, I guess. But again, Tony Khan doing a lot of weird booking going into this all-out pay-per-view. Like, FTR should be the ones challenging Swerve and Our Glory. The TNT title should be on the line. But no. You got a random-ass 6-man tag. I don't even freaking know. There's so much random stuff here. Hot Rod Bubba says, what are you drinking? I'm drinking some Wampa Fruit G Fuel. Some of that Crash Bandicoot Wampa Fruit G Fuel. This stuff is great. Kind of got like because someone asked me before, what's Wampa Fruit taste like? You know, Wampa Fruit, the fruit from the Crash Bandicoot games. It's got a little peach flavor to it. Crash Bandicoot Wampa Fruit. Got a little peach flavor to it. Anyways. So, they also teased like the Gun Club possibly being involved. They're ranked 5th. I don't know. But they announced it as just Swerve and Our Glory and the Acclaim. So maybe they add the Gun Club later to this. I don't know. United Empire and Death Triangle were backstage. Will Ospreay said that their goals are simply gather more gold. Pac said that they wouldn't simply kill the Empire. They'd murder them. Next up, we have Britt Baker versus Kylan King. Baker hit a sling blade right away as the match started and dominated on the outside in the match's early portion. King did make a comeback with a German and a Cazadora facebuster for a 2. Britt came back with a super kick and a curb stomp before putting on the glove and applying the lockjaw submission for the victory. So after the match, Britt grabbed a mic and pointed out that even though Rosa had to vacate the title, even though she didn't, I keep talking like she's not the champ anymore. No, you're doing the stupid ass, what's it called? Interim belt. But no, she's not dropping the title. Baker wrestled her entire title reign with a broken wrist, which is true. Britt, at one point, did take a amount of time off, but didn't have to give up the belt or relinquish the belt or anything, and then came back, still hurt, but cleared enough to wrestle. Toni Storm would then come out, but was leveled from behind by JD Hayter as Rebel posed with a terrible towel in Cleveland. Karshida then would come out with a kendo stick and chase off Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. Again, why the fuck is a Karshida in this match? If you're going off your rankings, Tony's ranked number 1, Britt's ranked number 2, Jamie's number 5. Okay, cool. A fuck Anna Jay. I mean, I get it. Athena's probably going to challenge Jade for the TBS title. That's fine. Do that. Cool. But you're going to put Anna Jay in your top 5 and just tell her, fuck you. That's a good question, Sin Saturday. So when was the last time Hikaru Shida wrestled a match on Dynamite? I mean, it doesn't really matter for the rankings, but let's just see when her last televised non-YouTube match was. So her last match on either Dynamite or Rampage, I would say. Holy crap, it's been a while. April 27th was her street fight with Serena Deeb that she lost. Street fight with Serena Deeb, she lost. That was the last time she wrestled on television. She's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches on Dark. And I would say only singles matches should count for your ranking. So 1, 2. She's got 2 singles wins in the last 3 months, 4 months. Yeah, that makes any sense. I mean, she's got 1, 2, 3, 4 tag team wins on Dark and Dark Elevation and a loss. But it's just like, I get it. Sheeta's a former champion and everything. So it's like, I saw someone go, well, she's a former champion. That's why she's in the match. It's former champions. Well, no, it's not. Toni Storm's not a former champion. Jamie Hayter's not a former champion. Toni Storm and Jamie Hayter are ranked top 5. So I'm going off on a tangent here that makes no sense because it ain't my booking. Tony Khan just fucking throwing shit at the wall. Everyone likes Sheeta, so let's just throw Sheeta in the match. So in the back, Swerve and Our Glory and the Acclaimed were being interviewed. Keith Lee said that they didn't just save the Acclaim because they like them. They think they're worth a tag title shot at All Out. The Acclaim accepted the title shot. Then we go to the top of the second hour, and we got the world title match. And I go, whoa, this ain't even the main event. The shit? Huh? So after a collar and elbow tie-up, Moxley overpowers Punk and drove him into the corner. Punk fires back with a high kick and then hurts his foot. Commentary says that the kick hurt the foot. Yet, Punk goes down and grabs the shin on the opposite leg. Huh? Grabs the shin of the opposite leg. Moxley then lays in some hammer and anvil elbows and hits a Death Rider before hitting a second Death Rider and pins him in, like, I guess they're saying on social media, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Like, what? Literally enough time for me to see the kick and Punk go down and me not think anything initially. Go like this, scoop some mashed potatoes on my plate, and the match be over. Like, what? Come on. What? After the match, officials and doctors ran down to look at Punk. They help him out of the ring. They walk a little bit up the ramp. They stop. Punk then looks back as Moxley's running through the crowd. And then we cut to the back. Christian Cage was backstage. His arms got a little, like, brace on the elbow. Kind of like, what's her name? Liv Morgan's been wearing. Not as big and bulky. Small elbow brace. Not like the whole forearm or anything. He was asked about Jungle Boy. He said all he was trying to do was motivate Jungle Boy, but Jungle Boy will never be as smart or as talented as he is. He said, Tony Schiavone asked him about Jungle Boy's challenge for a match at All Out. And he said at All Out, Christian wants, if he wants to see average, he won't get it. He accepts Jungle Boy's challenge for the pay-per-view. Ricky Starks then came out all kinds of pissed off. So he comes out and basically said, Team Taz is over. He's no longer the FTW champion. This and that. Stark says he was injured with a broken neck last year. And Hobbs called him every single day to make sure he was doing okay. But Hobbs is just jealous of his success. Starks was upset at Hobbs hitting him in the neck, and he got emotional. He said he's a, quote, low-down, dirty, slime ball scheming snake. Starks wants a match with him at All Out, which got announced later. Starks versus Hobbs at pay-per-view. Then they're like, we're going to hear from the world champion, the undisputed world champion, Jon Moxley. Let's send it to the back. And Moxley says, quote, "Oh, I'm sorry. Was that not how that was supposed to go? Everyone wrote me off when CM Punk returned a few weeks ago." Also, thank you, Max Puma, for the tier 1 subscription in 2 months. Really do appreciate that. He said, I am a professional wrestling. I'm not just some guy. I am the guy in this industry. People keep asking, when is it my time? Well, my time is right now. He said something about it being 2022 being his year. So there we go. There we go. Moxley's got both belts. Moxley's the undisputed champion, the unified champion. And we have no freaking clue what the main event for the pay-per-view is. We do know other matches for the pay-per-view for next week's Dynamite, this week's Rampage. So let's run them all down. As far as Rampage goes this week, the AEW World Trios Championship Tournament, we got the House of Black taking on the Dark Order. It is John Silver and Alex Reynolds with a partner to be determined. I don't know why it's not just 10. Maybe it's Hangman Page. Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello will be taking on the team of Ortiz and Ruby Soho. The TNT Championship will be on the line when Wardlow defends against Ryan Nemeth. Jade Cargill, the TBS champion, will speak. Also, the Ring of Honor World Championship will be on the line when Claudio Castagnoli defends against Dustin Rhodes. As far as next week's AEW Dynamite, Bryan Danielson will be going one-on-one with Jake Hager. Also, in a bit of a preview match for the women's Fatal 4-Way match at the pay-per-view, Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida will be teaming up to take on the team of Dr. Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. As far as that pay-per-view does go, All Out, September 4th. We do know that Bryan Danielson will be taking on Chris Jericho. And we have the AEW World Trios Championship Finals. The AEW Interim Women's World Championship match, Toni Storm, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, Jamie Hayter, and Hikaru Shida. Jungle Boy will be taking on Christian Cage. FTR will team with Wardlow in a 6-man tag team match against Jay Lethal and the Motor City Machine Guns. We've also got the Casino Ladder match, still nobody announced. The AEW World Tag Team Championships will be on the line when Swerve in Our Glory defends against the Acclaimed. Also, Ricky Starks will be taking on Powerhouse Hobbs. There we go. That is everything we do know for Rampage this Friday. Dynamite next week so far. All Out at the pay-per-view, September 4th. They got a video recapping Kenny Omega's return from last week. And then Don Callis joins commentary for the main event. The United Empire, not the Undisputed Empire. The United Empire against the Death Triangle. This match, a lot of spots. A lot of predetermined spots. But I still had fun with it. I still really liked it. These two sets of trios worked great together. Phoenix and Ospreay had an impressive acrobatic exchange to start things off. At one point, Phoenix took out both of Aussie Open with a double cutter, and Death Triangle landed simultaneous tope con grios. Back in the ring, the Lucha Bros hit an assisted splash. They continued to beat down Ospreay with frequent tags. After a commercial break, Aussie Open saved Ospreay from a beatdown, allowing Ospreay to hit a twisted Orihara moonsault and an assisted dropkick for a 2. The best friends were shown at ringside as Aussie Open isolated Phoenix on their side of the ring. Phoenix eventually made a comeback with a double springboard arm drag, allowing him to tag in Penta. Penta landed a diving crossbody, a sling blade, and a crucifix bomb. He wanted to go for the fear factor to the outside, but Davis fought out, and Aussie Open, no, just a regular fear factor, not fear factor on the outside. He wanted to go over fear factor. Davis fought out, and Aussie Open hit a double team for a 2. After another commercial break, Death Triangle were running a wild on Ospreay. Pac then took out Aussie Open and crushed Ospreay with the German suplex. Ospreay tried to fight back for a second, but Phoenix walked the ropes and kicked Ospreay's head right off, allowing Pac to hit him for a near fall. Lucha Bros and Aussie Open teed off for another go at it inside the ring, trading kicks and whatnot. Their respective partners then hit double poison Ranas, leading to Ospreay and Pac facing off. They traded forearms until Pac laid in some kicks, a German suplex, and Ospreay fired back with an Os cutter for a double down. Ospreay was in the first man back to his feet, and he chopped Pac hard and looked for a cheeky Nando, but Pac escaped and hit a top rope brainbuster before the final commercial break. Once back from the break, Phoenix hit a springboard Hurricane Rana, but Ospreay landed on his feet. Phoenix hit a rolling cutter, and Penta took out Davis with a step-up dive, and Phoenix landed a tornado on Fletcher. Back in the ring, Ospreay countered the Black Arrow into a cradle for a good near fall. Then, Pac reversed the Stormbreaker into a Hurricane Rana pin for another near fall. We then got a parade of big moves here, including a step-up destroyer from Penta on Fletcher. Ospreay caught a moonsault from Pac, and Pac adjusted into a DDT and set it for the Black Arrow. Fletcher then pulled Ospreay out of the ring, leading to Pac taking out both men with a moonsault off the ring post. Then they show what looked like Kip Sabian at ringside wearing his little box on his head that says underrated over it. Pac pulls the box off, and it's somebody else with their mouth duct taped shut. This then led to Kip Sabian, who I thought was freaking Mark Sterling at first, attacking Pac from behind. Because if you look at him, I'm going to pull up the image here on the screen. I literally thought this was goddamn Mark Sterling. Because if you look at him right here, when he first, just look at this graphic right, or this image right here. So if you see him from behind running in a suit, with blondish hair, it's like blondish pink, but in the moment, him running in and attacking, I thought it was freaking, what's his name? Mark Sterling, but it's not. It's actually, that's the wrong way. Kip Sabian. Kip Sabian finally back on television. Guess he's going to challenge for the All-Atlantic title, maybe? I mean, cool. We've learned that title don't matter. That title don't mean shit. Barely ever mention it, and it's only ever defended in other promotions on Dark. But it's good to see Sabian back, regardless. He attacks Pac from behind. Back in the ring, Davis hit repeated lariats on Phoenix, and Fletcher took out Penta with a drop kick. Ospreay hits an assisted Os cutter and picks up the victory. After the match, Omega's music hits. Omega's music plays, and the Elite come out. They stared down the United Empire. Kenny tried to come down to the ring. Callis stops him. There we go. The show goes off the air. That's it. That's AEW Dynamite. Very random show. They announced a bunch for the pay-per-view, so kudos to them for that. But a lot of just throw shit at the wall. A lot of just throw shit at the wall. That's what I thought of Dynamite. I thought it was an okay show. Not the best, not super great or anything. But we'll see. We'll see what this all leads to. I think we've got next week's the go home show. Next week's the go home show. That's going to be a very, very interesting show next week. As far as it's the final Dynamite. Correct, Kid Vicious. Kip Sabian. Well, that's not true. He's been seen. He says Kip Sabian hasn't been seen since he was injured by Miro. So he's been seen sitting in the front row. He's actually been cleared for 6 months. They just never used him. But he's been seen sitting in the front row with the box on his head and all that kind of stuff periodically. But he's finally back as himself. But that's what I thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of tonight's AEW Dynamite. If you want to let me know what you thought of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. The number scrolls across the screen down here and is in the live chat. But as far as the polls do go, check those first. Twitch poll, 80% liked the show, 20% didn't. As far as the Twitter poll does go, 43% liked it, 33% didn't, and 23% thought it was just all right. And as far as the YouTube poll does go, 53% liked the show, 26% thought it was just all right, and 22% did not like Dynamite. Are some of the comments here. Person says 4-minute match, laughing crying emoji. He says, I think Dynamite is so amazing. All kinds of matches are the best. This person says, great show. Mox is the fucking man. Can't wait for All Out. That person says, good show. I'm just confused regarding the women's division and now the world title. And this person says, what a fucking joke that was. No wonder AEW gets 1 million viewers from every one show anymore. Oh, less than 1 million. They may hit 1 million this week just because they had the Mox Punk match, but I don't know. We'll see. We will see. As far as text messages do go, got a couple of them. This person says, being reported that many AEW stars are unhappy with Tony Khan's bookings. Which stars do you think? I'm not even going to address this because I don't know, and I'm not going to speak for anybody else. I'm not going to say who I think is happy or not happy because I have no inside information on that. I have no info, and I'm not even going to try to assume because that's not what we do here. We don't assume things we don't have any knowledge of. Saying, who do you think is unhappy? I don't fucking know. It says, what are your thoughts on Jon Moxley becoming the Undisputed AEW World Champion? Shocker. I thought it would be Punk. Now, I said I was going to give you my theory on this, and I forgot to, so here's my theory on this. Either A, Punk came back thinking he's fine, then had a setback, and they had to just get the title off of him quick because he's still hurt. Or B, they did this just to set up the rematch at the pay-per-view, where Punk's going to go, you beat me, give me one more shot. Give me a shot at All Out. I think it's one of the two things. But they kept playing up so hard of, oh, he came back too early, he came back too early, he came back too early, which leads me to believe maybe that's not the case, but it could be. Maybe he did come back too early. And that he thought he was fine last week, or 2 weeks ago, and thought he was fine last week, and then maybe something this week set him back. I don't know. I have no clue, and hopefully we'll know by tomorrow morning. We'll hear some reports and see some stuff. I don't know. Finally, this last person says, do you think Madison Rayne being part of AEW has improved women's matches? Also, it's funny how Brian almost said Daniel Bryan. Well, first off, Madison Rayne's been around for like 2.5 weeks. So she hasn't really done anything that we know of. So, yeah, no. I mean, Madison Rayne's okay. I don't think she's going to make that big of a splash. Like, what is she really going to do? Not much. Or it says, is it safe to say that WWE is officially taking over again? Like, is it safe to say that WWE is the place to be again? Yeah, probably. Sounds like it. It really, really does. Especially with Triple H involved. Or in charge, actually. With Triple H in charge of signing talent and booking the talent, yeah. I'd go there over AEW. Fuck. But with that, I do want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited if you're watching later. Or if you're listening later, podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. So with that, guys, have a great rest of your Wednesday. I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.